Hello and welcome back, guys. In this particular session, we will be discussing question number 14 of SPR's exam kit, and the company is Rose. Okay, so what we've been given is that Rose is a public limited company which operates in mining sector. The draft statement of SOIP as follows at 30th April 20x1. Okay, so this is our SOFP. And then the examining team have said that the preparation of full consolidated financial statements is unlikely to appear in SPR exam. However, this question still provides important revision of a range of consolidation issues. Okay, so it's basically about how you prepare. It's just basically revision only. Okay, so what it being given is that okay, this is interesting. It's in dinar. Okay, so one subsidiary or associate, it could be anything, we'll know later only. So when it will be a subsidiary is when it have a greater than 50% holding, and then if it has a significant influence and the holding percentage is between 20 to 50, right? So when will it have control, or in this case, like if it's a subsidiary, when will it have control? Is that when the investor has power over the investee, and then the investor has right or is exposed to variable returns from the investee, and then if the investee can use its power to affect those returns, those variable returns from the investee. Okay, so that's when you have control, right? Or when will you have a significant influence? When you have a representation on the board, when you can influence the decision making, operational and financial decision making. Okay, and then after that, if you have a significant transaction between the investor and investee, and then after that, if you provide key management personnel, interchange is happening within the company, then it is considered that you have a significant influence. So yes, even though if you have only 19 or 18% holding, it is likely that you might have a uh, what do you have, significant influence. Okay, so even in the case of control as well, even though if you have only 48%, but if the criteria such as if the numbers of investors are numerically large and dispersed, and then what kind of agreement you have with the other investors, and then after that, that will be few key determining factors whether you have control or not. Okay, always remember that. So pp is being given, and then investment in subsidiaries petal and stem is given. Okay, so stem is given. Okay, so usually this figure we need to convert it to find the cost of investment, because see, this is in dollar, right? So this is in dinar. So when you are calculating goodwill, we need to translate this figure into dinar first of all, and then later on when we find out goodwill, then again translate it to dollar. Okay, so current assets is already there, equity and liabilities is given, so share capital is there, return earning is there, and then other component of equity is there. That means when we are calculating return earning for group, we need to segregate this amount as well. Always remember that in case of other component of equity. And when it will be affected is if there is a additional purchase of shareholding, right? So it might increase or it might decrease. So if there is the amount that we paid for, and then how much are we receiving in return, that will determine the OC, right? Whether it be positive or negative movement. Okay, and then non-current liabilities is there, current liabilities is there, so we need to look out for mutual owing and PURPs. So let's see the information given. Okay, so on 1st May 20x0, so that means 30th April 20x1 is our year, right? So exactly 1 year ago, Rose acquired 70% of the equity interest at Petal, a public limited company. The purchase consideration comprised cash of 94 million. Okay, cash is already been given. So what was the amount over here? 113. Okay, did it purchase additional? Further interest, right? 19. So this plus this 10, and then after that 13. Okay, 113. That is justified. So the fair value of identifiable net assets was 120, excluding the patent. Identifiable net assets of Patel at 1st May 20x0 included a patent which had a fair value of 4 million. This has not been recognized in financial statement of Patel. The patent had remaining useful life of 4 years, right? So excess depreciation should be charged over this 4 year. So for 1 year, it'll be just one, right? And what else? The retained earning of Patel were 49 million. Other component of equity this much. Remaining excess of the value was due to increase in value of land. Okay. So Rose wishes to use full goodwill method. Okay, not partial, no net, not partial or net proportionate method, right? So fair value of NCI was this much. No issues of ordinary shares since acquisition and goodwill on acquisition. So acquired for the 10% interest in Petal on 30th April 20x0. So after all this calculation is done, we basically reduce the non-controlling interest, right, by 10%. So how much was there earlier? So 30% is equals to something. That must be the total non-controlling interest. Out of that, 10% will be removed, okay? So Rose acquired 52% of ordinary shares of STEM on 1st May 20x0 when STEM's retained earning were 220 million dinars. Okay, so this is a foreign subsidiary and its functional currency is dinar. So we need to bring it back to presentational currency, right? So how do we determine functional currency? Again, the economic environment in which the entity operates, right? And then after that, what are the primary factors? Primary factors basically is the local currency that affects the sales price, and then the competitive force and the regulation that affect the sales price, and then after that the currency in which the costs are paid, right? So if these first primary factors are inconclusive, then we use secondary factors. Secondary factors include uh, the currency in which funds from financing activities are generated, or the currency in which the funds from retained. Okay, so even if this is also inconclusive, then what do we use is basically we use different kind of approach. So which is basically we see the autonomy of the institution, and then how much money is available for remittance, whether it is fully autonomous as in management decisions or in making financial decisions. And we need to also look at whether it's a subsidiary, uh, whether it's just an extension of the parent's entity as an extension counter kind of thing, or it's a solely independent organization. We need to look at that. Okay, so these three factors should be used when determining functional currency. Okay, so fair value of net identifiable assets was this much. Fair value, excess of fair value over the net assets of Steam is due to increase in value of land. Okay, so Rose wishes to use full goodwill method. Okay, easy. Fair value of non-controlling interest as that was this much. Okay, no issues of ordinary shares and no impairment of goodwill since acquisition, and then different rates are given, right? So we are required to prepare a consolidated statement of financial position of the rows added at this much in accordance with IFRS, showing the exchange difference arising on translation of net assets. Okay, so we are required to prepare consolidated SOFP, consolidated statement of financial position for the year ended. What was the year? 30 April 20x1, 30 April 20x1, April 20x1, right? So let's bold it. Assets, bold it, non-current assets. So what's within it? PP, right? Property, and then equipment. Let's not forget intangible asset. Just don't want to miss that patent. That's why I'm writing it down. And then anything else? Investment in Patel and this thing, don't no need to worry about that. Goodwill. Goodwill will come from working note number 3. Right. And then this will basically arise from working note number 2. Anything else? Nothing over here. I think current assets. Current assets. And that's pretty much it, I guess. Yep. Total assets. So I did not see anything about uh, I did not see anything regarding PURP, so I'm pretty confident that current assets will be 118 plus 330, right? 118 plus 100 plus 330. Okay, goodwill we need to calculate. Patent as well we need to calculate. And then after that, this will basically be